Welcome everyone to part one of our MPC kit build-up. This is the 1/25th scale Knight Rider Knight Industries 2000 or kit that we saw in the original television series Knight Rider. Again, this is the MPC kit in 1/25th scale, and we announced we were going to start building this one a few days ago. I've been having a lot of fun working on this one so far, everybody, and I'm going to explain a little bit about what I've been working on here today. I started off with doing a nice paint job on the body. I did some high gloss black on this with an automotive clear finish on this. It still has to be polished out. I'm going to wait a couple of days for that to settle down and buff out. It's got a couple little specks of dust in it here and there, but we're going to do the same really nice high gloss paint job like we did on our 1/25th scale Interceptor here a couple of weeks ago. Get that looking really nice. And then I've been working some on the interior and the chassis. The chassis is right here. The detail on this chassis is fairly decent. It's got the engine detail. It's got some components here on the bottom, your sway bar, your rear end, your shocks, your springs and everything. And something I'll touch on real quick on this is that the front end on this is a little bit, the design on it's a little bit off. The problem that we have here is we have a steerable front end on this, and the drag link that connects the two spindles together to be able to make the front end steerable. The instructions aren't very clear as far as how it gets installed. It's got a slight curve to it on each end, so it can either be kind of curved up or it can be curved down. If you curve it upward, it's going to rub on the sway bar assembly here. The sway bar assembly is installed exactly where it's supposed to go, but if you install this the other way, it's going to be rubbing on that. And if you curve it downward the way I've got it here, it rubs a little bit on the bottom of the motor. So it's kind of a give and take situation, but it just barely rubs on the bottom of the the water or the timing case cover there, and we're just going to have to go ahead and live with that. But it acts like almost like a little brake here. When I steer the wheels, they'll kind of stay where I put them. So I'm gonna live with that. Just a little heads up on that for you, but we do have some nice detail here. It has the rear sway bar, it's got the full exhaust system, and enough detail on it to make it pretty reasonable on the bottom, so it's not too bad. I've got the engine block painted here in the late model GM light blue color. On this kit, you can build this engine as either the standard or a turbocharged edition, so we're going to build this one as a turbo version, and there's some nice detail for the turbocharger and everything that we can do on this, and we'll show you that in the next video. But mainly what I've been working on here, guys, is the interior. And I talked about in the first introductory video on this build that I wanted to do the lighting on the dash, because this has a really cool dashboard, as we know from the television show, with all that futuristic kind of cockpit looking lighting in there, really neat looking. And I wanted to backlight some of that. The kit does come with the decals for most of the instrumentation. So what I did is I took my Dremel tool and I cut all those openings out. I didn't do all of them, but I did most of the main ones, and I cut them all out. And then I took some 030 gauge white sheet styrene and I cut little panels to go into back, over the openings from the back side. And then I applied the decals over the white styrene. And the reason I did that is that I wanted to diffuse the lighting a little bit, because decals aren't meant to be backlit just straight up, because the film is really thin, the ink is really thin, so if you put a light behind it, they're just going to look really washed out. They're not going to look rich and full like they should. So you've got to do a little bit of diffusing in there, and so some just regular white sheet styrene, some thin sheet styrene worked great. I mounted 4 0805 SMDs in white behind that, and mounted them and just kept playing around a little bit, getting them adjusted to where they shined up against the white styrene from the backside, and did a nice job backlighting the entire dash. And then I sealed everything up. I made another little bit of took some more of that same styrene. Once I had all of my SMDs mounted and where I wanted them, I made a little light box to block it all off, so we don't have any light leaks coming out of the bottom or the top or the sides. It's just the dash itself that's lit. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the power so you can see that, and I'll zoom in on it here for you just a little bit. Get as close as I can where it doesn't start getting blurry, but if I kind of put my hand over it here, you'll see that it's all lit up really nice, and it's going to look really great. Not bad for 1/25th scale, and I wanted to do it really subtle. Like I said, that it'll be a little bit darker when it's in the interior of the car, and you can see it really nice, and that worked out great, guys, so I'm really happy with that. Now another interesting thing that I did here, that a detail that I wanted to have, I'm going to go ahead and turn the power off here and then I'm going to reconnect it, is that we know that if you're a fan of the show, you know that whenever KITT is talking to Michael when he's driving the car or whatever, there's a little light box, or right there above the center part of the steering wheel. I think that was maybe on season 1 and season 2. I'm not sure how long they kept it that way, but I noticed it on the videos that I was watching of it. And so I wanted to have that little effect. And what we're going to do, I've got to turn my voltage down here, way down, guys. I don't have a resistor on that. What I've mounted inside there is I've mounted a little 1.8 millimeter butterfly type LED. It's a really small LED. It's in red, and I got it sitting in there. And then I took some clear sheet styrene and I made a little lens for it here on the front and glued that over top. I drilled a little hole through there, glued that over top of the hole, then I applied the decal on top of that. So basically what you're seeing here is what we're going to do is we're going to hook this up to we're going to use our Big Dog soundboard again, and the soundboard actually puts off enough voltage whenever it makes sounds to light an LED. So the LED will sync with it. In other words, whenever the sound comes out of it, it will light. So if we have dialogue, it will follow along with the dialogue. It will follow along if there's sounds like music or the sound of the turbo boost or whatever we want to do. It'll make the sounds and light up at the same time. So I'm going to go ahead and light this here for you, and you can see it. I'll just turn it on constantly there first so you can see it showing there. There's a little bit of glare coming from my overhead light here. There you can see it a little bit better. Now the plan will be then is that, like I said, to hook that up to the board, and so it'll only come on when the board is active, when the soundboard is active. Now I'm going to go ahead and kind of simulate what I'm talking about here. Like if I talk, it will light up the same way and follow along with that. Okay guys, I did my best there, but you can see what I'm talking about there. That's going to look really cool, and I've got it really subtle. It's not overly bright. It's nice and in scale and everything, so that should look really cool, and that's a nice little detail, and I'm glad we were able to pull that off on a model this small. So that combined with the dash lighting and our scanner in the front is going to put some nice detail on this, and then we're going to mount it on a little shadow box like we did with our Aoshima Interceptor. I don't think I'm going to do a diorama or anything, but we're going to put the car on there, a nice little display, and we'll have the sounds with it. We'll have KITT talking, we'll have dialogue, we'll have music from the show, and some other sound effects like the turbo boost and maybe some of the weapons or whatever that KITT had on it. So we'll figure that all out when we get to it. But anyway, I thought you guys would enjoy that little update. I don't know if I have mentioned or not, but I'll tighten up on the interior again just a little bit here for you. I painted all this in the basic tan, and then I took some of our velour flocking material here and used our puffer tool to make our simulated carpet in there too. I wanted to add a little bit of detail because the KITT had some nasty little mold relief peg marks and stuff in there that we would have had to sand them out and all that. So that came out really good. It looks like real carpet. It's nice and in scale, and if you guys haven't tried that little method before, it works really, really good. So we'll be able to see that through the back window and everything too in the car. So that's going to be pretty cool. The KITT comes with either clear or smoke kind of tinted glass. I haven't decided which glass I'm going to use. I think the tinted glass would look pretty cool. We might wind up using that, but that's what we've gotten done so far, everybody. As I said, I'll be back here in a few more days and we'll give you another update on this. I'll be working some more on the chassis. When we get our control board in from Tenant Controls to do our scanner, we'll show you hooking all that up and getting that all set up and working this thing all together, guys. I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed our little update here. And if you have any questions about how I'm doing any of this and you want to build your own, just drop a line on the video, guys, and we'll try to answer that for you. So appreciate you tuning in and checking it out. We'll see you next time, everybody. Take care and happy modeling, guys. See you next time.